Hi guys. Hi Álvaro. Hi Yasser. It's good to be with you today. And hi to everyone. We're going to give some time for everyone to join in. We have quite the list of attendees today, so we're very happy. Thank you for taking the time and joining us. And we hope today's session will be fruitful for you. Please keep in mind that as we finish our webinar today, it will be recorded. So we'll be sharing it with you to your email IDs afterwards. And please feel free to reach out to us for any information or clarifications on any part that you have missed or would like to elaborate more on, whether it's from RatedPower or also Solis Depot from Yasser. He'll be happy to support you on all of the requests and queries. Okay, so while we're waiting for 2 minutes, how are you guys? How's it going?
Hi, Ghada. Hi, Álvaro. Always a pleasure.
The pleasure's ours. How is the weather in Jordan? Is it, it's still warm, right? In September.
Actually, yeah, it is perfect actually nowadays.
Oh, how
About
nice.
September, it is not that warm, and nighttime is amazing, to be honest. We invite everyone to visit Jordan in September.
We'd love to visit Jordan. I know me and my colleagues, at least in the Middle East, we are looking forward to our next visit, and it will definitely be Jordan.
Yeah, I think in the presentation we'll be speaking about Jordan particularly. So it is a
Quite a
very
lot.
interesting market now. It has been interesting, and it will be more interesting. So for business also, it is a potential market now.
I double on that for sure. Well, I think we are good to go now. So let's go ahead. Hello everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. That will be about driving the solar and storage integration in C&I projects across MENA. Today, I'll be, if you have either know me yet, I'm Ghada Alafranji, that's leading the EMEA team at RatedPower, and I'm accompanied today with my colleague Álvaro Gómez, who's a technical advisor for LATAM and also Middle East. And we are also accompanied with a colleague of ours, Yasser Zaidan, who is at Solis Depot as a general manager and leading the Middle East market as well. Any words from you, Yasser, introducing Solis Depot on your behalf?
Sure. Thank you, Ghada. Thanks for this opportunity. Let me start introducing Solis Depot. Solis Depot is a Jordanian company that was established in 2018. In 2019, we started our core business as a distributor in the Middle East markets, starting in Jordan, as Jordan was the main hub back then. And our core business was based on Huawei. We used to be a Huawei value-added partner when it comes to their solar products in Jordan mainly, and then we expanded our relation with Huawei to 5 other countries across the Middle East and North Africa as well. And we are representing other brands recently, such as Longi Solar for PV modules, and expanding our presence in other countries across the whole Middle East, such as Saudi Arabia, UAE, and North Africa as well. That's a quick brief about Solis Depot.
Pleasure to have you on board, Yasser. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, in the next 45 minutes, we will be exploring how the Middle East's C&I solar market is evolving from PV only to PV plus storage, the challenges, opportunities that brings, and how tools like RatedPower and Solis Depot solutions as well can help you stay ahead of the game. So with no further ado, on today's agenda, we'll be covering the market overview and transformation. The challenges and opportunities will be covered by us, and then we'll give you also a live demo from my colleague Álvaro. He will showcase how RatedPower can benefit you from transitioning from PV to PV plus BESS. And we'll give it ended by a future outlook on how we foresee the market and our conclusions, and finally give you some room to drop any of your questions. So please feel free to drop them as we go, and we'll cover them all at the end. So to start with the market overview and transformation, many of you who have connected are familiarized already. To those who are not, so basically Saudi Arabia and the UAE has been the anchor market for ground-mounted C&I projects in the region. But what's really exciting is that growth is no longer limited to Saudi and UAE. We're seeing strong activity in Oman, Jordan, and even Iraq. So the important trend here is the shift in mindset. Companies are moving from considering PV only projects to looking at PV plus storage solutions. So this isn't just about adding batteries, it's about ensuring reliability, especially in regions with weaker grids and unlocking better project economics. And to be clear, when we talk about C&I in this session, we mean ground-mounted projects starting at 1 megawatt with no upper limit on capacity. So this is where EPCs, developers, and distributors can really capture new opportunities and scale. So now, with this region overview from our side, we wanted to hear it better from the people from the market themselves as Yasser. So to make this more concrete, Yasser will share with us what he's seeing directly in the market from a distributor's perspective.
Sure.
So Yasser?
Thank you, Ghada. Yeah. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay. So adding to what you have mentioned already, that market is transforming. There is actually many reasons behind this transformation. So first, I want to go slightly mentioning the main reasons here in the Middle East market that is driving the transformation of the market. So we have many scenarios in the Middle East. We have some countries with a lot of deployment of PV on-grid projects. We have other markets that there is a lack of infrastructure when it comes to electricity itself. And we have some other countries that they have like a solid grid, a good infrastructure. However, the demand there is expanding and is increasing, and they are looking to expand their grid and infrastructure. So they are going towards solar to expand. And we have some other countries where grid is stable. They have the capacity, they have the demand as well, but yet solar is good because the investment is feasible nowadays. So the main driver for some of the other the countries that I have mentioned, starting by Jordan, for example. In Jordan was the first deployer of solar projects in the region. Started maybe in 2012. The first regulations in the Middle East started in Jordan. But nowadays, if you look to the market, there was almost 2.8 gigawatt or 2.9 gigawatt of installed PV and wind, where the conventional capacity is around 4 gigawatt. So we have a lot of solar when it comes to comparing conventional power stations with solar. And in order to deploy more solar to the grid, the only solution is the storage. So now we are seeing some changes in the regulations. Storage is being allowed, and we can see the shift from the end users as well, accepting the storage as an option. So that is, for example, one factor. As well as another driver for the market in general is the liberalized cost of storage, or the capex itself. If we want to look maybe in some of the C&I sector, they are not looking to the liberalized cost of storage, they are looking at the capex. So when it comes to technology itself, the development of the technology led to both increasing the energy yield of the systems when it comes to cycles, more cycles. Energy density is less, is more, sorry. So we are having a less balance of system and installation cost. And the lithium ion price itself, when it comes to batteries, is less now. And thanks to the technology developers, the R&D, which enhanced the cost and the economy of scale. As we can see now, lithium available capacity, production capacity is very high, and even maybe higher than the demand. So the price of lithium is being decreased and decreased, which affecting positively the capex in the storage projects. So this is when it comes to the commercial reason, as well as when it comes to grid stability. We have mentioned that in order to deploy more solar, you need storage. but in some other countries there is a lack of infrastructure. So the only quick and the only way for end users themselves to improve their energy availability is the storage itself. And in some other areas, we can see that the energy independency is a factor. Although some countries like Iraq, they have the diesel,
Yeah.
and but the grid is weak, let's say. So they rely sometimes on the diesel generator from the microgrid diesel generators suppliers, if I can call them like that. But the end users now are thinking to go independent when it comes to their energy. They cannot rely on diesel generators, microgrids. Sometimes there is a lack of diesel, and that happened in Lebanon actually like 3 years ago. Everyone was depending on solar and diesel generators, but suddenly diesel is not valid anymore in the market. So the market started shifting into storage back then. So these are the main drivers here in the region, taking into consideration different scenarios and different market conditions and countries as well.
Yeah.
Moving forward
To the
uh,
challenges and
to the
opportunities.
challenges,
Yeah.
exactly. Let us start with the challenges, Ghada, because there is always opportunities, but there is always
Challenges.
challenges as
Correct.
well. Yes. So let us divide the challenges into two main parts, the commercial part and the technical part. If we look to the commercial part, sometimes when we are designing a microgrid solution where the grid is not available or there is a lack of grid or a lack of availability of grid, we need to take into consideration some safety factors for the storage system design. Uh, where we are oversizing the storage, depending on some like very occasional scenarios, but we have to take that into consideration, which increases the capex cost, where sometimes the storage is not as feasible as on-grid direct projects, simple projects with storage even, because the oversizing is not needed because there is a grid. You can rely on the grid in such occasional situation. So sometimes the availability of the grid affects the oversizing of the storage, which a bit affects the investment itself and the capex of the projects. This is when it comes to the commercial point. If we look to the technical part, and this is a very important part actually, because honestly speaking, on-grid projects is straightforward, simple. The market is mature, the experience is there. But when it comes to storage, there is a lack of experience, unfortunately. So when you are going to have a system that includes the inverters, the PCS, the batteries, the controllers, the gensets as well, and the grid, you need to make sure that you are having a system that can communicate smoothly, that can be integrated together smoothly as well, to make sure that the energy flow is going smooth at your end. So when it comes to the components itself, you need to make sure that everything is aligned together. And now we can see that the suppliers are going to are having like a single solution from a single supplier when it comes to the BSS system, apart from the genset for sure. So this is an added value as well that suppliers are now providing to the market. Uh, Also, when it comes to lack of experience, we are speaking about sizing, design, commissioning, and even after sales service, we can see that still the market is in lack of that technical knowledge a bit. And here, actually, you can see the value of such a platform like RatedPower that can supports with the sizing, design, and the layout of the project, which is very critical when it comes to storage projects. And actually, our role as a distributor here to provide the clients with the perfect solution from day one when it comes to the design, sizing as well, validating the design, choosing even the right application for the system, because it's not very straightforward always. Sometimes it's peak shaving, sometimes it's peak shifting, sometimes it's peak and
It's
valley.
different. Yeah.
So uh, yeah, so we can add that value to the clients from day one when it comes to the application sizing, design, validating that, and the commissioning, which is very important, and the after sales support as well. And during that process, during that journey of the client for the project, the supply chain challenges are there. Uh, Also, when it comes to storage, for off-grid scenarios, for example, you don't need any approvals from any authority. You just need to get the project signed, and then you can start installation. Uh, and it is like a very quick cycle of a project for off-grid. So you need to have like the goods available in your country. Uh, you need to have the batteries
Mhm.
available. So the supply chain, sometimes it's challenging. Sometimes the lead time from the manufacturers is a bit long. But from also the supplier side, so from also the supplier or the distributor side, it is challenging because the warehousing of the batteries is not as simple as other parts. You need to make sure that you're not exceeding the duration, and if you're exceeding the
Yeah.
duration, you need to charge and discharge and all of these scenarios. So there is always supply chain challenges in storage projects, and we believe that here is also a big part of the distributor role to add some value to the client and have a solution for that.
Mhm.
Finally, which is
Yeah.
the most important factor, the safety. Unfortunately, we can see a lot of systems, a lot of batteries, a lot of things in the market, but we always ask people to align with safety requirements because not every system is safe, not every battery is safe, not everything is safe.
Indeed.
There is a minimum safety requirements that everyone has to take into consideration.
Comply with.
And I wanted to mention that because unfortunately we can see that there is a lack of knowledge here as well, that they think that it is very simple. For
Of course.
modules and inverters, it's very simple.
Yeah,
But
it's been
for
there for
batteries,
many
it is
years.
different.
Yeah, it's a
Exactly.
new
It's been
technology,
there,
so we have
and
to adapt to the changes.
exactly. And lithium as a nature,
Hmm.
it's, it's not safe.
Crucial.
So it is something that needs to be taken into consideration always and always, to be honest. So
For
we have
sure.
finalized the challenges part. Let's go to the opportunities part. And here I want to give like some examples of the current markets in the region that started maybe 3 years back, 4 years back, adopting some storage projects, but mainly residential projects. So if we're speaking about some countries like Yemen, Lebanon, Syria, these countries had lack of infrastructure, lack of grid and
Hmm.
electricity availability. So I think every single residential end user in these countries have installed or willing to install solar for the past 3, 4 years and in the next very few years, uh, because it is the only way to have energy uh, where also diesel is in lack of these countries. Uh, for Iraq market, also we have seen that the market is developing recently. By end of last year and
Yeah.
early this year, the residential market is also moving. But for Yemen, Iraq, Lebanon, and Syria, also these four countries have started C&I projects deployment as well. So it started with residential. People got the knowledge, people got the trust of the storage systems, and started deploying these systems into the C&I projects. And I believe maybe these four are the biggest C&I storage markets in the region in both size of the market and number of uh, projects.
Mhm.
Also for Jordan, as I have mentioned earlier, that we need to adopt storage in order to deploy more solar to the grid. We have seen that the new regulations, the regulations in Jordan has changed. The regulations was based on net metering scheme earlier. Last year, it was changed to net billing and zero export and some scenarios that you can consider. with some limitations on some sectors. So it became even more attractive and to deploy storage in some segments like the commercial and the industrial as well. And there is a confirmed news that the time of use tariff is being considered in Jordan to be applied, to be obliged actually. It is now
Mm-hmm.
optional for some industrial sectors, but maybe next year or by the end of next year, it will be uh, something that everyone has to follow. So
Comply with.
also Peak and Valley application when it comes to storage is something that will be uh, a main market in Jordan. In addition to Jordan and the Levant countries that I have mentioned, we can see Saudi Arabia for sure. Everyone is interested in Saudi Arabia. We can see that utility scale in Saudi is booming in both on-grid and storage. SEC alone, they have 12 gigawatt hour of
Yeah.
tenders. Uh, some were awarded, some is being awarded. We can see, we remember all the biggest energy storage project in the world, the microgrid one in Red Sea, the
Yeah.
1.3 or 1.4 gigawatt hour project that was installed like 2 years ago, maybe, or 3 years ago. In addition to the utility scale that is really booming in Saudi Arabia, we can see some C&I opportunities as well. In NEOM, we know NEOM. NEOM is a green city, so solar is one of uh, the uh,
Contributors.
the contributors in having such a green city in NEOM, with having storage for sure. And the storage projects are being installed there for the last 3 years, I believe. As well as agriculture market where they are relying on diesel generators, although diesel is a bit maybe cheap, but the logistics part when it comes to having the diesel generator available, the diesel itself available in these areas is challenging. So the storage is the right option for such agriculture market and some island areas as well. It applies on both the island areas and
Yeah.
the agriculture. And Aramco, for sure, we all know Aramco. Aramco always adapt new technologies, and they are adopting some of the very interesting projects. I remember 2 years back, Aramco installed like 6.88 megawatt hour as a pilot project
Mm.
for one of their facilities. Uh, Back then, 6.88 megawatt hour was really a good size of projects for the Middle East market.
I
Uh,
remember.
and yeah, speaking about the other GCC countries, unfortunately, it is a bit slower than the others. If we look to the UAE, maybe it is moving a bit faster than Qatar, Oman, and Kuwait. But definitely, these markets are coming
Coming up.
in the
Yeah.
future.
Mm.
But mainly Levant and Saudi Arabia now are being like
The boom.
quick, exactly. So
It's an early
that's it.
adopters. Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you, Yasser, for sharing your points. And as you highlighted, one of the recurring challenges for the market is simply the lack of experience and how important that is to adopt that, but also the grid instability. So that's exactly where storage comes in, right? So in many Middle Eastern markets, as Yazid mentioned, grids are either experiencing rapid demand growth, weak or unreliable. So it's about demand management. So if we take an example, the UAE, or any other region, I believe as well, we've seen cases where the grid operator had to cap the amount of energy for businesses could inject or consume. So with storage, companies can now store excess solar during the day and release it later, staying within grid limits but still meeting their energy needs. And if we go beyond reliability, storage also makes sense economically, as Yasser has mentioned. So with self-consumption and peak shaving, companies can reduce their electricity bills and optimize how they use solar energy throughout the day. And importantly, in larger ground-mounted projects starting at 1 megawatt and above, the case of for adding storage becomes even stronger. The benefits scale with the project size, right? So this is why we're seeing more and more tenders and private clients asking for PV plus storage solutions, not just PV alone anymore. So how can we adopt at early stages? So here's the challenge. Accurately sizing storage and demonstrating the value quickly is still a barrier for many EPCs, developers, and perhaps also distributors. This is exactly where RatedPower comes in, making it simple to design PV plus storage projects in minutes and turning these challenges into new business opportunities. So with RatedPower, you can size and simulate your PV and add storage to it, projects in minutes, not days. That speed means you can respond faster, iterate our designs, still provide high quality documentation that wins your client trust. It also opens the door to expand onto new markets, whether you're active in Saudi or looking to expand to Jordan, Iraq, or the Levant countries that Yasser has mentioned. Rated Power gives you the agility to adapt and compete in multiple countries. And importantly, we're built for ground mount projects starting at 1 megawatt and scaling all the way to utility scale. That flexibility means you can handle both C&I and larger developments in single platform. In short, what looks like a challenge, storage complexity, tight timelines, becomes a competitive advantage when you have the right tool and partner to carry the project forward. So let's leave the theory behind. And I think the best way to show you this is to see it in action. So I'll hand it over to my colleague Álvaro, who will walk us through a live demo of how RatedPower helps you design your PV and storage projects end to end. Álvaro?
Thank you very much, Ghada. Can you hear me well?
Yes, certainly.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, as Ghada mentioned, I'm Álvaro. I'm technical advisor for RatedPower, and I'll be performing a demonstration here. I'm gonna first steal the screen from you, Ghada.
Claro.
Okay, can you see my screen now? Yeah?
Yes.
Good. So as Ghada mentioned, RatedPower is a cloud-based solution to simulate unlimited designs of your PV plant and now of your PV plant plus storage. So for this webinar, we have created this project where we have saved these 4 designs. And the first thing we're going to do is start by the just PV design to give you a brief overview of how the software works. Okay. So this is the designing window. And this design, as you can see, is only PV. Okay. The only thing you need to import in the software or to draw in the software is the polygon. So in this case, is these 2 polygons and a substation. Okay, that's the only thing we needed to add, and the rest we are providing it. Okay, we have a whole database of equipment, and the software itself will simulate and install the PV plant. Okay. I'm not gonna get very deep into the PV side as this webinar is about the battery part, but if you are interested, I really encourage you to contact me or Ghada, as she's the commercial one, and we'll be very happy to perform a demo. And yeah, so as I was mentioning, this case, I'm just using generic equipment. Okay, I'm not using any specific equipment, and we have designed a PV plant in Saudi Arabia of almost 10 megawatts. And yeah, so how can we, in RatedPower, add a battery system? It will be very easy, okay? So the only thing we need to do is go to our site, clone our site, and add a polygon, okay? We can draw it or we can import it. I'm not gonna do it live, but I have already saved it here. But I can show you how it's done, okay? So we just draw it, and every time we want to change something, we just click in Run Design, okay? So in this case, we saved the site and we skipped all the PV steps as equipment layout. You can see here we can select all the layout configuration for the PV side, grid point for the interconnection as we know. And Yasser mentioned that there is sometimes a complex interconnection schema in the region. So here you can just design your own interconnection with a substation, switching and breaking station, whatever. And of course, we'll provide with all the documentation, layouts, and everything of the overhead lines or underground lines. And of course, jump into the best side, okay? So what I did here was select that I wanted a AC best system, okay? Then I had to select the power conversion system. In RatedPower, for now, what we have is a power conversion system with the transformer and the inverters inside. I say now because we are looking into having more options, okay? Having the inverter with the container, for example, or yeah, we are constantly evolving because as my colleagues mentioned, we are still learning in storage. We are all still learning, so we are constantly changing and adding new things. So in this case, I just added an inverter of 1.1 megawatt and one inverter per PCS. And so it means here it's 8.8 megawatts of power. And then in the container, what we have now is the possibility to customize your own container or to select a container from a manufacturer's list that we have. Yeah, as you can see, it says new here. So this is something we added a few weeks ago. And yeah, from here you can select it and we have the dimensions and everything. So I selected this equipment because only because of the size, because it matches what I wanted to achieve. But of course you can select whatever you decide. And from here we will select our best requirements. So I'm adding 8 PCSs, which means 8.8 megawatts and 2 containers per PCS. So I have almost 8 hours. Thinking that yeah, I want to use my system to provide power during the night, so around those 8 hours. But here you can perform whatever you'd like to do. And once this is set, we can jump into the layout creation. We can set the dimensions of the PCS and set, for example, if you want the PCS orientation to be perpendicular or parallel, and then the block distribution. So according to the container I'm using, by Googling the solution, I've seen that this manufacturer most of the times uses this configuration. So I just imitated it, okay? For example, you can do horizontal both pieces in one side or like this, but vertical or vertical in the side, whatever. And these options are for the 2 containers per PCF. If I will change, for example, to 4 containers per PCS, I have completely different options, okay? And if I wanted to just perform the simulation, it would be just clicking in run design in this case. And in terms of seconds, you see, I already have the solution designed and I can do, as I said, unlimited options and just try and try and try until I get what I wanted. So I run the simulation, as I said, and then I can select, of course, the block alignment. In this case, there is this option only. But for example, if I would change to horizontal size PCS, it can be same orientation, mirrored, or back to back. I can set the distances, of course, and the layout orientation. And last but not least, the setbacks. Okay. Yeah, so once I ran my first simulation, I came to the result. Once it's like this, and I see the power, I see the energy we are producing from the PV side. I see some financial data of the substation, of the overhead line, and last, the AC battery energy storage system. So I see that the power is almost the same as the PV, so it makes no sense. So I try to decrease the battery system to 50% of the battery of the capacity of the PV side, just by adding instead of 4 PCS, instead of 8, 4 PCS. And super easy, I got the result. And with this, we already have a design. Okay, last step will be, it's not what we're going to focus in this webinar, but last step will be the dispatch. So you can carry out a dispatch strategy where you set the efficiencies, the battery cycling, and degradation. And based on the financial data that you upload, you can run that simulation and you get also financial data. Okay, but it's not what we want to see. So what I want to show you is a little brief on the documentation that we will provide, okay? Because after doing this, the main output of the software is going to be all these documents. So a list of reports, of Excel sheets, and of layouts and single line diagrams. And I think for the scope of this webinar, what is the most interesting thing is going to be to show you the bill of quantities as the list of materials, okay, that we will provide. This is for the PV plan. But here you can select if you want the line to the transformer, the main overhead line, or the battery system. Here we're going to provide the battery containers, the storage inverters, and all the equipment that we are using. If, for example, we would upload a CapEx sheet with the prices of this equipment, we can run this financial analysis, okay, and you get the CapEx of the P plan. Yeah, this is in terms of the list of materials. And the last thing I want to show you is the layout that we will provide. So we provide all our documentation in editable format. So you can download this as a final layout, okay, that you can provide to the administration, or of course in CAD that you can change it, you can add everything, you can edit it. And of course, there is a listing of cables where you can see every cable, the power, the electrical configuration, mechanical configuration, and everything. I think this is it from my side. I don't know, Gala, if you want me to mention something else, please I
I
encourage
think that's
everyone,
perfect.
every one of the listeners to add any question. I'll be super happy to answer, and I'm sure me and Gala can take it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alvaro. I'll go ahead. For
Yeah.
everyone who's tuned in, please feel free to, if you'd like to learn more about how you can run your own design, whether it's PV or PV plus storage, we are more than happy to take you through a demo and showcase it to you as well. Okay, perfect. So going back with this demo, we can see, okay, what is now the future outlook? What are we looking into ahead? As we look ahead, the direction of the market is very clear. What are your thoughts, Yasser?
I think it is very clear. It is promising. Everyone can see that there is a lot of potential in the market here, due to the main facts that we have mentioned all earlier. Lack of infrastructure or whatever. I don't want to repeat again. But in every single country, you can see that this country needs to deploy storage because of that or because of that. Different reasons, but the result is the same. The market is promising. And I think in some countries, the lack of experience was the only reason preventing them from having
Yeah.
the storage installed. Having such a solution and having a technical partner such as us, for example, as a distributor that can add the technical support to the EPC is something that can help the EPCs moving forward in these markets.
Yes, I double on that. And the companies that adopt to digital workflows will have a clear edge. Faster proposal cycles and more accurate simulations don't just save you time, but they also protect margins and help you win more projects. So choose your partners wisely, and we are here to support. So with that, I think we can end it over here. And thank you to everyone who took the time to joining us today, and for Yasser and Alvaro for giving us more information and showcasing the insights for us. Now, we would love to hear your thoughts, question. So let's open the discussion for any questions.
Yeah, I see, Gara, there is already a couple questions I can take on them
Okay,
for start.
wonderful.
So Jose Maria is asking, thank you for asking questions and to be engaged, for being engaged. Why 8 containers were not a good solution? So I gotta say in this case that it was a generic example. I don't even know what this PV plan wants to do. I just wanted the audience to see that it's very easy to just iterate and see what options you're having with 8 containers. And then once you run it, you can move to 4 containers and see what happens. And if I would know more specifically what I want to do with this project, I can add, as I said, the CapEx sheet, the financial data, the financial, for example, the prices that I'll be getting for selling my energy, either from the PV side or from the storage side, and run the simulation, see how the energy flows from one side to another. And then I can see if 8 containers or 4 containers is a good solution. But in this case, it was just an example. And thank you very much. There is another question from Jasmine Ahmed. Thank you for asking questions, Jasmine. she's asking if layout have roads inside the best layout. So this is something in our very short-term roadmap. And I say very short-term because I've been testing it last week and we're gonna release it. I don't know if by the end of this week or the next one, it will have the roads in the layout, of course, and customized roads. Yeah. There is another question from Javier. Thank you very much, Javier, for asking. He's asking if we can size a system for a specific load profile. Yeah, so here we are right now in discovery phase because since we released the dispatch model, we have been requested a lot about this, and not only about uploading a load profile, but also a generation profile. If you have already a PV plan, for example, you know what's generating exactly, and I don't want to size my PV plan in the software. I just want to add the generation. You could, for example, do a standalone system in the software and add the load profile. And yeah, so we are just discovering what our clients want to do with this, and it's something that we're going to release soon, hopefully. And yeah, it's going to be super cool for sure. Thank you very much.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah. So I think we're good with questions.
Yeah.
Okay, there's anyone?
Yeah.
It says, hi, thanks for sharing your knowledge through this webinar. Is it also possible for you guys to upload a demo video for PV Plus BESS or similar in the RatedPower website? It could be easy for a fresher like me to explore more about the RatedPower software. I think, Ghada, this is for you.
Thank you, Rav. Appreciate it a lot. We could possibly have a call together and we can directly show it, or we can either that, or we can also do a quick video and send it to you and your team. But don't hesitate to reach to us, and we'll definitely take the time to jump on a call with you. So with that being with the questions, or we still have 2 minutes remaining. While we wait, is there anything that you'd like to cover, Yasser, on your part?
Actually, from my side, I have concluded, and I think that most of the questions are for Álvaro because he has the most interesting part, the practical one.
Indeed,
The
it's always
very
more
nice,
interesting when we become practical.
yes,
The easiest.
and it really gives a good solution for the people, so for the engineers, for everyone. So this is why he has the most like weight of questions.
Yeah, certainly. People like to have more practical simulations. So I think we will not be receiving more questions. So again, just to thank you everyone who connected with us today. It's been a pleasure. Please do share with us any comments or questions via at Yasser or at Solis Depot or at RatedPower as well, either me or Álvaro himself. We are here to support, and it's been a pleasure to speak with you, Yasser, today, and Álvaro for your time to showcase the software.
Thank you for
Thank you so
hosting
much.
me. It's always a pleasure, Ghada and Álvaro.
The pleasure's ours.